What is the mass of 2 moles of dihydrogen sulfur tetroxide?
Oh, that is fancy. That's sulfuric acid. H2SO4.
I like my way
It
better.
was
though.
beautiful the way you said it.
Yeah.
So what does 2 moles of sulfuric acid weigh? That's a great question. Let me pull up a periodic table. Nate, you want to help me with calculations here?
I would love to.
Oh boy.
Okay, so let me start by saying in chemistry, when you're asked for the weight of a chemical, you're typically talking about moles of a chemical. A mole is a specific number of particles of a chemical or atoms of a chemical or molecules of a particular chemical, in this case molecules. So that number is 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd power. So it's a lot of pieces, but this allows us to give weights that make sense to humans and are on a human scale for chemicals that are made up of pieces that are so small that giving weights to a single piece would be just so much tinier than the human experience that it'd be very hard to understand them. So on the periodic table, and I'm working on pulling one up right now, but on the periodic table, there are weights given in what are called atomic mass units. So if we can look at my table here, we'll look at helium. So helium's popped up here on the left. Helium has an atomic mass of 4.00, getting most of its mass from its 2 protons and 2 neutrons. Conveniently, the way that the periodic table was set up, the atomic masses also refer to the weight of 1 mole of said element. So a single helium atom has a weight of 4.00 atomic mass units, and also a mole of helium would have a weight of 4.00 grams. So you can just convert straight to grams using that number on the bottom of each chemical symbol on the periodic table, and that gives us the weight of 1 mole. Now, when we're looking at compounds, we have to add the weights together, so this is fairly straightforward. So Nate, I'm just going to walk you through it.
Okay.
You can pull up Nate's screen for me, and I'll pull the weights myself. So Nate, you I'm sure know this stuff, so help me out here. How many hydrogens do you see?
2?
2 hydrogens. Okay, so
2
the
hydrogens.
atomic mass of hydrogen is 1. So let's put 1. And what we'll do is we'll just do kind of a series of additions.
How do you normally kind of structure this, like
So
organize?
I structure it with, so I separate each chemical with a plus sign, so I'm adding them together.
Okay.
But we'll do is we'll say 1 is the weight, 1 gram is the weight.
So 1 gram
And then let's multiply that times 2.
times 2, so we got 2 grams.
2 grams, and then that is what we're going to want to add together. So we'll maybe make a little addition column on the right side. Does that make
Did
sense?
that math in my head.
Yeah.
The setup is far more your purview. Okay, so
All right.
the mass of 2 grams, or sorry, of 2 moles of hydrogen is going to be 2 grams. All right, so then we have sulfur. We only have 1 atom of sulfur. So the weight of sulfur is 32 grams.
32.
And of course, we got to multiply that by 1 since we have 1, right?
I got the calculator for that one.
Nope. Sorry, you're
All
on
right.
your own.
I was going to guess. I think it's 32 grams
You are
Oh.
total.
a savant, Nate. I don't know how
Yeah,
you did
I
that.
try.
Okay, so and then we have 4 oxygens.
4 oxygens.
So the atomic mass of oxygen is 15.99, or the molar mass of
Oh.
oxygen is 15.99 grams.
We got 4 of those.
Multiplied by 4,
Ooh, that's going to be 59.96.
it would be what? Wouldn't it be 63.96?
Oh, yep.
63.96, I think.
63.96.
So that's each of the constituent pieces, and then we're just going to add that column together, and that'll give us the mass of 1 mole of sulfuric acid, H2SO4.
So 97.96 grams. That's 1 mole.
Yeah, and so if you could write grams per mole or grams slash mole
Okay,
for me.
grams per mole, and we got
So
2 of those.
This is what we call the molar mass of sulfuric acid, and we have 2 of them, right? So at this point, we just need to multiply it times 2.
Yeah, we're just going to double this.
And if I was, with my students, we'd be thinking about dimensional analysis, so we're multiplying by 2 moles, right? So the unit moles would cancel out, and we'd be left with 197.92 grams.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
195.
Ah, 195.
You did so good on the sulfur multiplication.
I know.
I thought you had
Right,
it.
and the 2 times 1.
I know, and the
So
30,
impressive.
32 times 1
You ruined
is
your
double digits.
streak.
Man.
So that is how you do it, and on some level, this is sort of a simplified question. There could be more complex chemicals, and you could be looking
Right.
at a portion of a mole. You could be looking at 57.25 moles, and then in that case, it gets a little bit more complex. But it's really just this simple: finding the molar mass of the chemical, and then multiplying that molar mass times the number of moles that you have. So there you go.
Subscribe. Come on, push the button.
You know
Yeah, you want to.
Do it.